He says that he is not going to check the other two areas, the other two categories.
Why wouldn't he check them?
He said he didn't see any need to do it.
Did you ask the county commissioners to request Mr. Gentle to do this? Or they?
I had asked them to get a count, a full count of the three categories of cards, to be matched against the count off of the computer, and if they're still off, as they were off 5,000 cards, then we would know that they were still missing some certificates, that there were some people who had not received their certificates and were left off the rolls.
Are you considering having the voter registration investigated by federal authorities?
I believe that if we don't get satisfaction out of Mr. Gentle, then we will have to file a suit in the Justice Department, yes.
Why do you think that these errors have occurred?
Well, I believe that one thing that would help us is to have an office of registrar where one person is in charge of receiving the applications, no matter what category they come from, and issuing of all certificates. And this person would also handle all elections in Dallas County, whether it be Dallas City or the little small towns on the outskirts of Dallas. He would handle the elections, no matter what kind of machine that they used, whether it was punch card, machine, or paper ballots. Every bit of this would come under the office of registrar.
We're going to have to make a concentrated drive on this to attempt to get at least a minimum amount of compliance, which is what we try and expect to get out of these builders. Through carelessness and negligence, cost risings on these, the builders seem to become complacent on this. So what we're doing now, beginning today, is to concentrate all the powers that we have into these areas, and we'll be in daily and more often necessary to see that we do get compliance in the building code compliance and fire safety practices.
What can you do to force them to comply, Chief?
Well, of course, you can't compel anyone to do anything. We can make it awful uncomfortable for them through court action and otherwise, but we never like to resort to these. We find that people, once they realize the real problem is, they will comply with it.
Well, I entered school in the fall of 1968 to satisfy a long-cherished ambition to get a degree. And being a young man at heart, I've entered rather seriously into campus activities. Last fall, I was pledged to Delta Tau Delta fraternity as the oldest pledge in the United States, and became inactive in February. My fraternity urged me to become more active in affairs generally, and so I decided to enter the race for Johnny Reb.
Colonel, you're aware that Johnny Reb has to ride a horse and keep company with Miss UTA. How do you feel about that?
Oh, well, there's a lot of life in the old boy, and I can ride a horse. I spanked a saddle in the field artillery for 3 years while I was in the Army, so it isn't anything uncommon for me.
These things are so strange. They're just sort of journalists built that up. I didn't really know how it happened. You know, they always use superlatives, and every now and then they're kind enough to give it to someone, and I was just at the receiving end. I didn't sort of take much notice of it.
What effect did it have on your career, being stand up to the most beautiful girl in the world?
Not anything really. My career as a model was established. Nobody believes it, let alone me. I mean, it's very nice and very complimentary. And it was, I don't really know how it happens, why they do it. You know. It didn't really, because I was already working.
How did you get into modeling? What made you decide to start?
Well, I did a secretarial course for a year. I could only type at 35 words a minute. I can't do anything with my hands. I can't cook, so anything. And so I wasn't much use there. And so people said, why didn't you try modelling? I was very young. I'd come from the country. I had no